His name is Elon Musk. He saved free speech. He created so many different great things. Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Yes, take over.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA. America is the home of the brave. And I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to take away your right to vote effectively. And free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote? You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment. President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America.
It's really a sad day in hell when the biggest advocate for free speech in a country known for its freedom of speech is someone who isn't even born in this country. That should tell you something about the state of the country right now. For years, the gun community has tried to tell the people in the middle the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. Without the second, you don't have the first. Too many people in this country are willing to do away with the Second Amendment or treat it as some sort of stepchild of the Bill of Rights. They don't realize that the Second Amendment is the muscle that protects all of their other rights. Not just the First Amendment, it protects all of them. People are scared to accept that the Second Amendment serves as a deterrent against tyranny. It's not about machoism or pounding your chest and saying, hey, I got guns, you can't stop me. No, it's about making the cost of becoming tyrannical exceedingly high so that those in power think twice before overstepping. If they do try, at least they have the means to fight back. It wasn't supposed to guarantee victory. It's supposed to give us a fighting chance to prevent tyranny by making it not worth the attempt. Think back to the Revolutionary War. The founders didn't think they were guaranteed to win, but they were willing to die to protect their rights. The Second Amendment was meant to give us the ability to fight back, just as those founders did. Today, people are so willing to throw it away because we've advanced technologically. But look at what we're dealing with right now. Take, for example, what Kamala Harris has said about freedom of speech.
We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
You have a sitting vice president who is currently running to be president saying that they want to censor platforms because people are saying things she doesn't like, cloaking it under the guise of combating misinformation. This allows the government to label dissenting voices as misinformation and take away your free speech. And she's not even being subtle about it. People argue that social media doesn't fall under the First Amendment, but what about the vast audience you have online compared to speaking outside your home? Shadow banning, suppressing pages, and community suppression online are driven by agendas. Those in power understand the influence of social media platforms like X, YouTube, and Instagram. They want to control the conversation because as long as they do, they control you. People need sources for their information, and without a counter narrative, they'll just accept the dominant narrative as truth. Before the internet, mainstream media controlled every form of communication, and the only information we had was what they provided. Now, with the internet, we have access to a multitude of sources, but during events like COVID, those challenging the government narrative were silenced, blacklisted, or had their platforms taken away. Years later, the government even admits that some of the challengers might have been right. This shows that no single constitutional right is more important than another. They each have different roles. Specifically, the Second Amendment is the guardian and protector of all other constitutional rights because it gives us the power to fight back. And the Second Amendment is the sheepdog of the Bill of Rights. When the founders decided to challenge the government, it was daunting, but they did it. In other countries where revolutions are attempted, They often fail because the government cannot be easily challenged because the people don't have a Second Amendment right. Here we have the unique ability to stand up and say, you can try, but it won't be easy. That's what the Second Amendment is about. Elon Musk referenced this idea on stage, and it's time people truly understand it. We live in an age where information is readily accessible, but we've never seen a more deliberate attack on freedom of speech as we have today, which is why it's so important to protect it. But protecting your freedom of speech won't matter if you can't hear what's being said, which is why it's important to also protect your hearing, especially when you go to the gun range, which is why when I go shoot, I use my favorite in-ear wireless Bluetooth hearing protection, the AKT1 Blackout. These things are amazing. They have a certified 25 dB rating with active noise canceling and hear-through feature with noise blocking. So you can hear what's going on around you while you're actively protecting your hearing from unsafe audible levels. You can also listen to high fidelity music and take phone calls all while protecting your hearing. They work on the range, at your job, and when you're working out. So click the link in the description section and grab you a pair before they're gone. Now, ironically, the Second Amendment protects the first, and the first, in many ways, protects the second. Many people in this country don't fully grasp what the Second Amendment means or the power it gives them. For example, I recently had two women on my podcast who shared their perspectives on the Second Amendment differently. I took that information and shared it on my platform, resulting in nearly 500,000 views. This is how the First Amendment helps spread the importance of the Second Amendment. When people are informed, they vote for policies that protect their rights instead of restricting them. The Bill of Rights should not be seen as an a la carte menu. They all exist together and work synergistically. Elon understands this, and I'm glad he spoke about it because now more people can see what the gun community has been advocating for years. The second protects the first, and the first protects the second. Remove one, and eventually they'll come for them all. People never anticipated this type of attack on the First Amendment. When it comes to power and tyrannical governments, power corrupts. Governments seek to acquire more control under the guise of safety and security, which often doesn't exist. Look around our country right now. The current administration is more concerned with maintaining power than protecting and securing its people. They're distracted, focused on expanding their influence, feeding us empty platitudes, and giving small amounts of money while pumping billions into other countries to maintain leverage. The government's goal is the acquisition of power, and they sell us safety and security to achieve it, even though it's fake. However, social media has empowered the people to understand the Second Amendment. Platforms like X allow for speech and the dissemination of information outside of mainstream media, which is why this current administration goes so hard at trying to ban people from it. Mark Zuckerberg literally told us this.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg says senior Biden administration officials pressured Facebook to censor some COVID-19 content during the pandemic. Zuckerberg sent a letter to Republican chair of the House Judiciary Committee, Rep. Jim Jordan, alleging that officials repeatedly pressured Facebook for months to take down, quote, certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire. He vowed that the social media giant would push back if it faced certain demands again. In response, the White House said that it was confronted with a deadly pandemic and the administration was encouraging, quote, responsible actions to protect public health and safety.
They understand the power of counter-narratives that challenge their own. The beauty of the internet is that it allows you to access all perspectives and form your own conclusion, which makes up the vast majority of this country. The vast majority of this country is in the middle. The power of the First and Second Amendment lies in their synergy, protecting our rights and ensuring we can defend them. The Bill of Rights exists together, each amendment reinforcing the other. Protecting the Second Amendment is crucial because it safeguards our ability to defend all of the other rights.
There are numerous public records requests that I have open right now that are, quote, pending legal review that I am entitled to request.
I've got to interrupt you here because...
Okay, are you going to stop the timer?
This is the public meeting forum that you agree to when you speak, and I want to read this to you, that there are oral communications during the city council meeting may not be used to lodge charges or complaints against any employee of the city or members of the body, regardless of whether such person is identified in the presentation by the name or by any other reference that tends to identify him or her.
That's all fine, well and good, but that's a violation of my First Amendment rights.
So that's, well, this is your warning, okay?
Warning for what?
A warning for attacking the city attorney personally?
This is all factual information.
It doesn't matter.
You're violating my First Amendment rights.
This is what you agreed to when you first speaking. This is the form.
It is unconstitutional, Mayor Hall.
Well, it's not unconstitutional.
It is.
And if you're
the Supreme Court has upheld. I could get up here and I could swear at you for 3 straight minutes, and it is protected speech by the Supreme Court. It is.
No, you can't.
Why don't you look at case law?
No, you can't.
I can.
So if you want to be
also the chair is engaged in debate. So
do you
point
want
of
to be
order.
escorted out of here? Do you want to be escorted out
You're
of here?
violating my First Amendment rights.
Talking.
You are violating my First Amendment rights.
That's your opinion.
It's not a matter of opinion.
Do you want to be escorted out, Ms. Massey? Because that's what's going to happen. And it's going to happen in the future also. Anytime you attack
That's why you changed the rules.
Or any
That's why you changed the rules.
This has been on the back of this form.
I understand, Mayor Hall, but that is completely unconstitutional.
No, it's
You're
not.
also engaging in debate, and so you should actually be yielding the floor to somebody else managing.
Chief, could you have somebody come down here and escort Ms. Massey out of
Really?
this
Is that necessary?
chamber? Yes, I think it is.
In front of my 10-year-old daughter, you're going to escort me out for expressing my First Amendment rights.
She can go with you.
I'm not leaving.
Well,
I'm expressing my first. Do not touch me. Do not put your hands on me.
You just step out with me.
Do not put your hands on me.
Come on out.
Do not put your hands on me.
Come out with me now before you get arrested. Do you understand?
Are you detaining me?
Yes.
Why am I being detained? Under what charges? Under what charges?
okay, so
And don't forget, protect your hearing too. So head over, hit the link in the description section and grab a pair of your AKT1 Blackouts, my absolute favorite wireless Bluetooth in-ear hearing protection, by clicking that link in the description section. Or you can just head on straight to shop.mrcolion.noir.com. One thing's for certain and 2 things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.